Good Thursday evening to you. How the heck is everybody? I'm glad to see you, and I'm glad to be seen by you. I am Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver. I hope you're having a positively wonderful evening and a wonderfully positive evening, because we have got something really, really fun lined up tonight, and I'm excited that I'm going to get to talk to you guys about this guy. It's going to be a lot of fun because we have a special treat today. For the first time on our show, we have an animator. That's right, a maker of moving pictures. And we're going to be introducing Fresher Luke here in just a hot minute. We'll bring him on. He's got a really cool looking project on Indiegogo that I can't wait to show you guys. When my buddy Yang Yan's out said, hey, you should reach out to this guy. I think this is in your wheelhouse. I was like, yeah. So without further ado, and me running my mouth and just kind of going on like a babbling dude, without further ado, welcome to the live stream. Welcome indeed to the Delver's Dungeon, Fresher Luke.
Hello.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you? That was quite the preamble. I don't know what to say.
We geek to a standard around here.
Yeah.
So should I call you Luke or Fresher Luke, or
all of those are good?
Okay. I like
whatever you want. I'm totally fine with.
I like Fresher Luke. It has a crispy sound to it.
That's 3 syllables, right?
It is. So we'll go with Luke for now.
Okay.
So tell us about what you're doing here. We're gonna bring the Indiegogo your Random Saga animated short page up here in just a second. But give us a little preamble. Give us a little background on this. Tell us about yourself and what you're doing. And
yes, well, I mean, yeah, I would have figured such a professional show like this, you would at least want me to try and introduce myself. So I am Fresher Luke. I am a simple businessman. I'm a animation veteran with over 10 plus years experience working in the mainstream animation industry at big studios like Cartoon Network, Warner Brothers, DreamWorks TV, Disney TVA, Nickelodeon, and a few more that are escaping my mind right now. I've worked mainly as a storyboard artist, but I have a bachelor degree in animation. And what else? Is there anything else you want to know that I'm currently forgetting?
Oh my gosh! Well, I think the greebly details we can.
I will say this. I did. Sorry, I just came to me. I apologize for interrupting. I just finished a previous campaign for a comic book called Forsaken Gods, which is another fantasy property that I've done, and it's being fulfilled right now. And I'm also the author of the 380-page graphic novel Bikini Cowboy, which you can probably find online for free because it got pirated.
Well, as a creator myself, and this is boilerplate, but I firmly believe it, we respect intellectual property around these parts.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah, I do not. In our little dark corner of the hobby, you get to stuff that's kind of unobtainium, right? I mean, sure. Role-playing books that were hammered out on a Winchester typewriter in 1976, 300 mimeographed copies, it will never be seen again. Yeah. Like 298 of them are gone. If I find a PDF of it, I'm not really hurting anybody by saying, oh, I think I want to check that out. But something like what you've done, I mean, you're vital, you're creating today, that I don't tolerate. I won't tolerate it. So rest assured, we do not raise the black flag and skull and crossbones around these parts.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I understand people doing that for bigger companies, but for smaller creators, it really hurts them. So I thank you very much for that.
It certainly does. I mean, in my own small way, I'm a creator too. I've got some published works out there with Frog God Games, with Hellebarg Games, and not only would it harm me, it would harm them. You know, these are not mega corporations. We're not talking about, you know, grabbing the latest Game of Thrones off of somewhere on the internet. We're talking about 5 guys in a suburb of some small town in Wisconsin. So
yes,
that is our mode and modus around these parts. So you may rest easy, friend.
Thank you.
Well, speaking of gaming, that kind of comes to an interesting dovetail, because I'm sure that if you took a look around a little bit of what we do and what we talk about here, I'm not sure if tabletop gaming is in your wheelhouse, but looking at Random Saga and some of your other stuff, this definitely scratches an itch for the tabletop. I think it does. Okay. I mean, I'm just going to read the blurb, and then we're going to put it up on the screen, and I'll stop running my trap and let you actually talk about important things. But here, this guy, now for my audience, tell me if this doesn't sound like a night at the gaming table. A group of misfits trying to make it in a fantasy world. You just described everybody's kickoff D&D game.
I know. So, that was the only sentence I could fit in because of Indiegogo's character limit.
Well, it worked. It just happened to work. So I'm gonna bring this up here, and like I said, I'm gonna let you kind of talk to us about Random Saga, and what is your inspiration for Random Saga? Where are we getting Random Saga from?
So Random Saga is a culmination, I guess, of my entire life, having had 2 older brothers who were huge D&D nerds. They read a lot of Dragonlance, but I was always, and they would always be talking about it, like after they were done playing it, and I would always hear them talking about these things, and I was really young at the time, and I guess my tiny child mind misinterpreted it as something real or something, and it just seemed so amazing. And they wouldn't let me play because obviously I was too young to play it. And so over time, you know, I guess I'm not, let's say, a hardcore fantasy D&D kind of guy, but I guess I'm a casual enjoyer just because of the kind of influences I had growing up. Mm-hmm. You know, I was really into animation really young, and I would just watch everything that was animated, and that included everything from Robotech to Sailor Moon, but it also included a show called Dungeons and Dragons, which was written by Mark Evener, who was also the guy who wrote Gru the Wanderer, which was one of my favorite comic books growing up.
Gru was awesome.
Yeah, and so, you know, stuff like that, reading Asterix, which is also kind of like this old stuff, liking the old Arthurian legends of King Arthur and Merlin and stuff like that, and Robin Hood growing up. And, you know, the whole thing of magic and monsters and dragons, you know, that all good stuff. And just always wanting to, I guess, do something in sort of the fantasy sort of realm lineage, but sort of, because obviously I've worked at all these big studios at a lot of previously kid-friendly shows. And I guess I kind of just wanted to channel that and make a 10-minute animated short that was for all ages, that everyone could enjoy, and that kind of like paid homage to a lot of fantasy, not cliches, but traditions, fantasy traditions, and you know, sort of like, I guess, knowledge and lore, or at least the symbolism of knowledge and lore, things like mimics and dragons and what they symbolize. And then because it's so ubiquitous now, right? Because we've got like movies like Lord of the Rings and all these other fantasy movies that are happening, and lots more people are playing D&D, and I thought it would be a good time to sort of do this right now.
Well, I definitely think you're striking while the iron is hot. And I definitely like the look of this. Now you've You're at 31%. That's great. 23 days left. You guys can get in on this if you want. So let's kind of scroll down a little bit, and we'll take life is what happens when you're making plans. I mean, truer words never spoken about real life or about the virtual life of tabletop gaming.
Well, that was one thing that kind of I picked up on, just because I guess maybe it's art imitating life with tabletop gaming. And I always thought it was sort of like a more boiled down version of kind of like what you go through in your everyday life, like unexpected things crop up when you've made some plan to go on a trip somewhere, and just derails everything. And so you got to try and learn and adapt and overcome whatever new challenge has decided to show up.
Sure. Because, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, God, the universe, Yahweh, synchronicity, call it what you will, is doing nothing more than rolling on a big table, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
He's got a 2 million sided die of all probabilities that might happen in a given 5 minutes, and is rolling it and checking it as you walk down the street with your, whatever degree of self-determination you wish to assign to it. But So our blurb says a 10-minute animated short for all ages about a band of misfits trying to make it in a fantasy world filled with dangerous monsters. While living together above a pawn shop, the group spend their free time going out into the world, scavenging through dungeons, temples, and catacombs. See, this is what we do. I talk about this 5 nights a week. So you just like reached over and pushed the dopamine release button for us.
Oh, that's great.
They search for valuable treasure they can sell and make, rent, and buy food, all while trying to pursue their dreams. Yeah, congratulations. You've created a Dungeons & Dragons campaign. So we'll take a look at your characters now. I like strong, clean lines right off the bat, and I like that. So tell us about this guy.
So this is Wizard Lizard. He's the brains of the group. He's like the de facto leader. He hails from a race of reptilians that don't like magic, and because he's so dead set at becoming a wizard, he left his society and peoples, and went out into the world to try and learn new skills and gain experience to sort of pursue this, I guess, this dream he has of wanting to find out more of what magic is and what it's all about. He's kind of got this character arc where, while he has a lot of, obviously he's very cerebral, so he has a lot of systemic knowledge, but he lacks a lot of emotional knowledge. And so he's kind of got to learn to understand mammals, because obviously he's a cold-blooded reptilian, and mammals' behavior kind of puzzles him. He doesn't really quite understand it. And so also because he's so cerebral, he's also somewhat grumpy, and kind of has a bit of an attitude, so to say, because he's obviously things have to be a certain way and done in a certain order, and that's just part of his, I guess, cognitive faculties. And but yeah, so in him learn more emotional intelligence, that kind of helps him become a better leader, and sort of as he becomes a better leader, he can sort of direct the others in a more effective way.
Right on. And in D&D terms, for those of you keeping score at home, I guess you might call this fellow a high intelligence, but kind of middle in wisdom.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, yeah.
And I'm liking this guy right off the bat.
Yes, Marigold.
Marigold. Tell us about Marigold.
So Marigold is a young man who was raised in a magical forest by fairies and other magical creatures. And then they cast him out once he hit puberty.
Oh,
they were like, you have to go live with your own kind now. And so, because he's kind of lived in this magical world for so long, he's kind of somewhat naive, but he's also very noble and kind. But that comes with a downside. Even he's got like incredible strength, like Herculean strength, and he can speak to animals, but he's a complete wimp and he abhors violence.
Oh,
I know. And so he's got this whole arc where he's kind of got to learn to grow from being a boy into a man. And learning that sometimes, there are important things in your life you have to actually fight for, like friends and stuff like that. And in a sense, he's kind of like the big brother of the group, depending on how you look at it. And he's got a bit of a destiny as well. and he's a very important character. I think lots of people. I'm always interested to find out who Marigold's favorite is amongst people who see it, because I can usually tell that they're like very down to earth people, because Marigold's a very down to earth, supposed to be a very down to earth character.
Right on. All right. And Aphid.
Yes.
Aphid. I love Aphid's character design, by the way. So they're all great, but I got to say, Aphid's resonating with me the most.
Oh yeah, lots of people like Aphid. All the writers want to write Aphid stories. So Aphid is a young imp white girl. She's an orphan. She's grown up on the streets of the city that they live in her whole life. And as a result, she's had to learn how to lie, cheat, and steal in order to survive. And because imp whites are somewhat small, they're kind of like gnomes.
Okay.
She gets picked on a lot, so she kind of joins the group through safety of numbers, and also because Marigold's somewhat incredibly tall and imposing. And so initially, she kind of like uses them to sort of further her own ends to try and make some money and get rich, but that gets the group in trouble. And so they eventually, have to tell her, like, you have to stop acting like this. You have to act a little more responsible. And so through them, she kind of like learns to be a better human being and sort of grow up into a quote unquote responsible adult, even though she's only 12. So, so that's kind of her whole arc as well. Like she really likes Marigold, and they become like friends, and they kind of teach each other things. She kind of like learns from him, and he kind of like learns from her. So, yeah.
Very cool. And Rexton.
Yes, Rexton the dog, the only capable member of the group. He's also the most mysterious member of the group. And he's kind of the emotional glue that holds them all together. He's a really good dog, and he's a great boy. So that's really all I can say about him, because obviously there's a lot of mystery behind him. So
no spoilers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we're not going to get we're not going to get any spoilers, sadly. So there's a lovely guy. I like this so much. I use this for the thumb for the video. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. You go.
No. Ask away. I usually work better if you ask me questions.
Okay, that's fine. First of all, as far as art style, I mean, I can't draw a stick man properly. Okay. I am no artist, but I'm definitely seeing that. I know it's right on the tip of my tongue.
Oh, please don't say it.
I was just going to say that Cartoon Network style. What did you think I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say Calalot style.
I don't even. Oh yeah, no, I've heard it, but I guess no, I wasn't gonna.
It's fine. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. I'll take it.
That's fine. I mean it as a compliment. It's lovely stuff. Awig in the comments says it isn't quite CalArt, so you're clear. You're clear.
All right. Well, it's other people have said that. I'm like, I haven't even studied a CalArts. I don't know what these people are talking about.
Oh, this is a beautiful piece here. This background piece. Now, look, I am going to say what this reminds me of, and I mean this is in the highest compliment, and I hope you accept this. This reminds me, like the vibe I'm getting off of this is very Bernie Wrightson.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did a lot of like I can lose myself in the details here. Okay. And that's very much his style. But tell us about it instead of hearing me ramble on incorrectly.
Yeah, this is just some concept art for the inside of the pawn shop that the characters live above. It's one of many shops where adventurers come in and they kind of sell whatever they've found. So that's why it's kind of like filled with all these little doodads and magical artifacts and stuff like that. I ended up not going with this design in the end. Or I mean, it was I've gone with a different one, but which is slightly different from this. But I mean, it's essentially still the same. So
Okay.
yeah.
I see you got the very scary hand of Vecna in the lower left corner there. That's bold to have lying in a pawn shop. I like the
I
cut of
know.
your jib.
Thank you.
Let's just,
Well, that's the thing. It's like I guess the way I'm trying to portray this. Sure, there's like hands like there's artifacts like the hand of Vecna in there, which like in lore are really powerful because
mhm.
given the effect they have when they're set when the candle tips a lid on fire, but in putting it there, I'm kind of like trying to show like, oh, this is just kind of like every day for these characters. It's like no big deal sort of thing.
Sure, yeah, and that's it's touchstones like that, and I can tell you from a gamer's perspective, when we see stuff like this, the hand of Vecna just sitting in a pawn shop. There's, you see a lot of people's comic strips and stuff, and they'll throw bits of classic D&D lore in the background. It catches our eye. We always sit up and take notice, and it's very much he gets it kind of moment, So,
well, have you been able to catch any of the others in this image as well?
Oh my gosh! Like I said, it's full of detail. Walk us through it. Walk us through it because
there's too much, and we only have 40 minutes left. So I encourage your viewers to go to the campaign page and look at it and see if they can find stuff themselves.
Yes, that is linked in the description, but I'm going to go ahead and paste it here in the chat. So those of you that want to check this out, and I highly, highly recommend you do, you can please follow that link and gaze upon this wonderful art. So we've got, your stuff you've got to do.
Yeah. So this is these are parts of the production that I have left that I need funding in order to complete.
Okay.
And it covers things like sound editing and music. So like a sound guy, hiring a sound guy.
Mm-hmm.
Getting additional artists to help me finish with background paint and animation production, so like drawings and in between. So those are kind of like the two big things, basically. The compositing I'll be doing myself.
Okay. Given that I know precisely zero about the creation of animation, sure. in this context, when you say compositing, what is that?
So it's essentially taking all the different elements like background art, character art, and the animation, and sort of assembling it on the screen.
Okay.
In such a way so that the camera is in the right place and stuff like that. Yeah.
So that brings up another question I had. Is this all 100% cell animated, hand drawn, everything, or is this kind of a combination of digital paint and traditional, or what's going on here?
So it's mostly digital, just because everything is done digitally these days.
Okay.
But everything's hand drawn. I'm using a couple of different programs for different aspects of the production. So for the background painting and design, I'm using a program called Photoshop. Maybe you've heard of it.
Oh gosh, no, doesn't ring any bells.
All right, well, it's a very exclusive program. Not many people have heard about. But there is two other programs that I think you definitely would have heard about. For the storyboards and animatic, I'm using a program called Storyboard Pro by Toon Boom, and also for the final animation and compositing, I'm using another program by Toon Boom called Toon Boom Harmony. They're a Canadian studio, and they make exclusively, I guess, animation production software for the big studios mostly. So,
okay.
But they offer it to anyone who wants to buy it, and it's I love using it. I've used it for so many years now, and they're both very powerful programs.
Yeah, it's obviously talking about completely different things, but I mean, regardless of what it is, when you find a tool that just works, isn't that the best feeling in the world?
Oh yeah, I mean, when it's made and fashioned so perfectly that it's like a breeze to use, then it's like It's like walking on clouds.
Yeah. Back before the Earth cooled, I actually used to tinker around with 3D animation in 1988, 89, and there was a
Wow.
program on the Amiga computer. Gosh, I'm dating myself there by talking about that, but it's called Vista Pro. It had nothing to do with Microsoft or Windows.
Yeah.
But I got to playing with that, and that was one of those things. It just fit the hand perfectly.
Really?
And
Okay.
yeah. It was a great little way of building a world from a digital elevation map and then flying a camera through it. Like 2.5 weeks to render 30 seconds of animation in 320 by 200 NTSC colors. So computers were a little different back then.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, they were very different.
But so tell it for folks who are gonna support this, and I definitely am. I just haven't decided on where I want to jump in on this. So tell us about the ranks and what you're offering.
The reward tiers, yeah. So I've tried to rank these reward tiers in order as much as I can, but obviously I failed because I marked one of them as featured, and it puts that one at the top. But I mean, starting with the feature one, the gold rank is probably the most middle ground, sort of like all around general tier that you get some physical rewards and you get most of the digital rewards, and you get your name in the credits, and basically the gold rank from memory, you get a 20-page full color comic book, you get a behind the scenes art book, you get a link to the special early screening that everyone gets when they back this campaign once the short is done. You also get a digital download of the short once it's done as well after the screening, and that's everything you get some stickers and a little postcard as well, because obviously kids like stickers and kids are part of the target audience I'm going with.
Of course.
And so that's what the gold rank does, and you can see some of the merch right there.
Yes, some of them conveniently scrolling down. T-shirt, art book.
Yeah, and download. Yeah, that's supposed to be
downloads a page from the comic.
That's the first page from the comic. Yep. So that's the new shop interior.
Okay, that still pops though. That still pops.
Thank you.
So other ranks, you got a beginner rank there. That's
so that's just the base one. You're just basically buying a ticket to the early online screening.
Okay. And bronze.
Bronze is well, the thing is, it's all previous tiers. The further down you go, you get all the previous ones. So you get the online link, you get the download, you get stickers, and you get the little postcard that I mentioned before.
Okay. I won't make you just repeat the same stuff over and over and over again. I promise. I'm a little bit better of a host than I think that.
Anyway, so digital tier is for international backers. Unfortunately, any physical rewards you get from this, I can only ship them to the United States and Australia right now, just because my fulfillment guy, he's still trying to build out his network of people that he can bulk mail things to. So if you live in Europe or somewhere in Asia and you want this, and you want something, right? Digital rank is there for you, and I've done my best to keep it moderately priced while trying to give you the most value for money that any digital product can.
Okay. And then just on down the way, you've got, like you said, just the ranks that build on the previous ones.
Yeah, with extra things. There's patches. There's what else is there? A whole bunch of stuff. Different pin sets, acrylic pin sets, enamel pins. A whole bunch of different goodies. If you go down towards the bottom at the biggest ranks or tiers, you get like snapback caps, a unique T-shirt, and you also get, like a producer credit, an associate producer credit, and an executive producer credit, and that's like the biggest one of all.
Wow. Well, there's your chance, guys. If you want to jump in, if you want your name in IMDb,
everyone says that.
No. This is all gorgeous stuff. Now I'm going to ask you an extremely nerdy and sideways question. Oh, come on. That is not what I wanted to do.
What's it doing?
My mouse has some terrible disorder. The scroll wheel likes to not work for 4 or 5 turns.
Oh, yeah.
And then catch up and snap down all the way to the bottom. And I was looking at the boilerplate stuff that they attach to everybody's project down at the bottom. Like, people who liked this might also like this,
Yeah.
Fund a solar washing machine. No, I don't think. Maybe. Anyway, but I don't want to get too nerdy on you here, because are not,
Go ahead, do it.
Have you given any thoughts to gamifying this, to approaching, say, well, maybe not Wizards of the Coast, but another third-party publisher, and saying, hey, I think this would be a lot of fun on the tabletop, and building out your world even more?
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously crossed my mind. Right now, I'm just kind of like starting with this to see if I can get this funded. I mean, it makes perfect sense. It would be something that I would branch out on into if this becomes quite successful with its funding. But yeah, I mean, some people have suggested like some kind of video game, like an RPG of some kind. Others have suggested what you suggested, and yeah, I'm totally down with that. It's just, if I want to even think about contemplating doing something like that, I'd have to be raising a lot of money to be like, well, I've got all this extra money, may as well do this.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, this is lots of irons in the fire. Right from the get-go, and you don't want to try and put too much on your plate. I completely understand, but I, as a gamer, am looking at the just through my own myopic point of view as a gamer, and going, this might be a lot of fun to play in.
Sure.
And that kind of brings me to my next question. Yes. Once the dust settles from this, just looking at the animation, are you thinking sequels, series, a pitch to a studio?
Well, maybe not the last one, just because the studios tend to take the rights, like it's their pound of flesh that they want in return, and they don't really give you good deals. But I do have other extra episodes written out. The scripts are done. So yeah, I would like to make more episodes of this as some kind of little mini series, but to do that, obviously animation is very expensive and time cost, a bit of a time cost. Mm-hmm. So in order for me to do that, I need money. I need money and resources so I can hire more people to help me make it. Because I'm just one guy right now. And while I can get it done, it takes longer. One guy to do it longer, and more hands make lighter work.
I completely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I absolutely do. The creative impulse can sometimes be a heavy burden.
Especially if you're as ambitious as I am.
Yeah, you're not kidding around. This isn't like, hey, I'll make a webcomic and a couple animated GIFs. You are going in, as they say in the basketball world, you are going in hard in the paint, my friend.
Well, I know how to do it. I've got 10 plus years experience doing it. It's just a matter of, everything I've said before. I don't want to repeat myself.
No, that's fine. I understand. Time is always a precious commodity for creative pursuits. And what's your setting aside the little gaffe earlier that I almost unwittingly committed? What though? Where do you draw your influences? I mean, we're kind of getting a look artistically, but
Yeah.
when it comes to animation styles and all, where are you drawing your influences from? I mean, obviously, it's your own thing. It's your fingerprints are here.
Yeah.
But I mean, anyone who said that they created something and were influenced by something else is not being truthful. So what are yours? Where did the itch begin to get scratched?
That's a big question. Just because I've been doing it for so long and I've worked on so many different things. I mean, obviously, growing up, I watched a lot of. I was really lucky, because I got a lot of British content, Japanese content, and American content. So it was kind of like a mix of all of those things. So there was this one British show called Super Ted. Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe not. It's fine.
That one, no.
Okay. Well, there was a show called Super Ted. It was kind of really weird and trippy. It was about this toy teddy bear that got thrown away, and this strange alien comes down and brings him to life with magic dust, and then the alien in his rocket ship takes the teddy bear to Mother Nature, who grants him powers. Basically, he turns into Superman, and his enemies are like this cowboy, a skeleton, and like a big fat dumb guy. And it was just so weird. And he lived in like this tree house. It was bizarre. But that was one. Astro Boy, a whole bunch of other ones. Yeah, a whole lot of different stuff. I really liked, adventure series. Dungeons and Dragons, like I already pointed out before. DuckTales, the early DuckTales, which was kind of like a similar thing of, Scrooge would kind of like be going hunting for treasure to fill his money bin full of money. And there was a lot of action and adventure in that. And a whole bunch of things.
Now, it's interesting you bring up the D&D cartoon, because there, my friend, our Venn diagram crosses over, and not just in that I'm a D&D fan. And D&D fans liked the D&D cartoon. I was fortunate enough in the early 2000s, up until Gary passed away, to get to know Gary Gygax and some of the stories that he told me about working on the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, because they had to pass their scripts by Gary to make sure they fit the basically fit the mold, so to speak. And there are some interesting stories, but this is you, not me, so I'm not going to bore you. But it's an interesting crossover there. I loved the D&D cartoon when I was a kid. I mean, that was my jam. I might be a season or two older than you. I'm not sure. We're not. I'm not asking you to show me your license or anything like that. But
who's the skeleton here?
Who's the skeleton here?
From my icon, sorry.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry, that wasn't a dig at you. That was a dig at me.
No, that's good. I gotcha. But no, I remember watching the D&D cartoon as well. And I actually I didn't get into Robotech until it had gone all the way back around. It was Macross again.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I tease people about when they say, I liked Robotech when I was a kid, and I kind of give them the weeaboo hard stare. You mean Macross?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I mean, let's be completely honest. I wouldn't know what it was if it had stayed in Japan and been Macross, right?
Yeah.
So I kid about the no, it's Macross, not Robotech. But our one of our audience members here, Wave of Mutilation, says, "I love Super Ted, the Spotty Man."
Yeah. Spotty. Yeah.
Spotty.
That was his alien friend that that helps him. So
Okay. What about the one from the UK that I know is Danger Mouse? You a Danger Mouse fan?
Yeah. No, I'm not a
Yeah.
fan, but I did watch that growing up. Yeah.
Yeah, my
Very low
yeah. It's I kind of put it right around the same budget. I think probably as the Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah, probably. I think Rocky and Bullwinkle at least had more fun-looking character design. I guess maybe I don't know.
So what else? You were talking about some other projects of yours that you've got. Is there anything that's still going right now, or is it just Random Saga?
It's just Random Saga. I'm not one of these people that does multiple campaigns. You know what I mean? It's like I usually only launch one after the previous one is fulfilled. I kind of feel like that helps build goodwill between me and my backers. But the previous one that I mentioned, Forsaken Gods, if you hit 3 campaigns, you could probably see it.
All right.
Underneath the profile there. Or maybe not. All right. Maybe that.
View full profile.
All right. Maybe it doesn't. Oh, no. Where the little thing at the top there that says campaigns.
Campaigns.
Next to no, on the left side. Next to profile.
Right okay.
Yeah. So these are the campaigns that I did. Forsaken Gods 2. These are kind of set in the same world as Random Saga in this fantasy world that I've created.
Oh, very cool.
Called Epic Earth, and it's just I don't know, it's just a fun. I've always wanted to sort of create my own fantasy realm, and fill it kind of like with my own ideas and sort of like borrow from different myths and legends and other cultural influences, some pop culture influences as well, and kind of like mix them all together and sort of create this thing.
Oh, well, that's the way you do it. That's how you that. Any DM worth their salt, any dungeon master worth their salt will tell you that's how you create a campaign. I don't care what you say, my friend. You are a D&Der. You are a gamer. You just don't know it yet.
Thanks, but it's like I don't know many D&D campaigns that include like wizard robots.
Oh, trust me, there are plenty that have wizard robots. I promise.
Okay.
I promise.
It just seems so, I don't know, anti-intuitive.
Wizard robot. Somebody more familiar with Eberron would have to clue me in on whether or not the robots in Eberron can be wizards. But that's not to say that this ain't original. But there is something that I saw just before we clicked away. Assuming that I can get the sound working, can we take a quick? How long is the promo here?
So that one I think is about a minute, maybe just short of a minute.
But let's take a.
It's just early test footage that I've done just to sort of make sure everything works for visually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, you could click it. Did you click the button like share audio? Oh, you did. Okay.
There we go.
There you go.
That's nice, man. That
Nice and
That
sweet.
looks nice. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. It
Just
was,
chill out, watch some stuff. Yeah, I was
yeah.
just going for a more, I guess, non-intense promo.
Mhm. Yeah. No, I gotcha. Wave says that looks fun. He'd watch it.
Oh,
Good.
sweet.
Because
Yeah, well, I
I
mean, that's the objective. I kind of just want this just to be fun for people to have fun watching it and just enjoy themselves.
sure, and I like that you're making it so accessible. Because it seems like you're either, things are either bitter and salty or just overwhelmingly, cloyingly sweet when it comes to animation anymore. Like, I don't know if you caught the stuff from Gorgonaut Studios. He does like a neo rotoscoping style, like Spine of Night.
I haven't heard of that. No.
It's pretty intense. It's more like heavy metal or
Oh, okay.
Fire and Ice, kind of like 1970s style. But he's
Yeah.
just recently released it. But it is absolutely not family friendly, even remotely, even a little bit. It is gory and violent and just.
Yeah,
It's not,
I get you.
not this, but
That's not this at all. I'm trying to. Yeah, I
and
just want everyone.
that's what I appreciate about this. This is
Uh,
wholesome, but it doesn't seem like it's like drowning in honey, you know?
yeah, yeah. No, I hate drowning things in honey. It's sickeningly sweet. I cannot speak, but you get what I mean. It's almost too
Yeah.
sweet. The taste is almost too sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I completely understand. But this looks nice, man. And like I said, as a guy, D&D is my jam, but I love animation. I love anything that kind of fits in that space. And this, my friend, this fits in that space very well. I am definitely all about this.
Awesome.
I know. So, do you have a stable of voice actors, or does that fall under the broad category of sound?
For some of it does. I do have some parts recorded already, just because
Okay.
I needed to. It was part of the auditioning, just to make sure I was getting the characters' voices right. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. So yeah, some of that test footage actually is to some already recorded scratch. But yeah, my plan is to sort of, once this campaign reaches its funding goal, I'll be posting like regular updates, and one of those updates will be sort of a list of voice actors I'll be getting that will be playing various parts in the animated short.
Excellent.
I like that Wave of Mutilation is down with cute, fun stuff.
Yes, he is on board with your style.
And he's also a fellow skeleton. Thank you, fellow skeleton.
I am outnumbered by skeletons.
Yeah.
In the chat tonight. I better watch it. So once this does hit, you're and you've got your digital, your digital backers and all the other backing is satisfied. Obviously, you're keeping this very close to the heart, which I salute you. I mean, it's very hard to give your kids to somebody else to raise, as it were. Yes. I completely understand that. People ask me about some of the stuff that I've done and have floating out there. Why don't you go to Wizards of the Coast? Why don't you take this suit? Because they're mine. Because I don't want to. Yeah. But will this be available to stream, or will it just be up there on the YouTubes, or how?
Yeah. So the plan is that once the let's say the campaign hits its funding mark, and I get the money and I hire the artists and I produce the short and I finish it. The plan is, with that finished short, I'll be doing a special live premiere screening exclusively for the backers.
Mm-hmm.
They can tune in and there'll be an after show and talk to me and some of the people who worked on it. And then once that's done, I'm going to send out the link for the downloads, so people can actually download a copy for themselves that they can keep, and maybe they want to burn it to a CD or put it on a hard drive or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably 3 or 4 months after that, I'll be putting it up on my YouTube channel for people in general to see.
Oh, give us what is the link for your YouTube? You can shoot it to me in the private chat, and I can share it.
All right, it's just Fresh Luke. It's not my YouTube isn't family friendly though.
Oh, okay. Well then, much of what we do around here is PG-13 to R, but I understand if you.
Well, it's like I just stream on there a lot, and I just say whatever I want to say, and
we're down with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of swearing, is what I'm saying. So.
Yes. Well, as we are talking about your project here, I won't demonstrate that we're kind of the same ethos about that, but I understand. I understand. You know, I try and make it.
I should probably clean that up now that I think about it.
Yeah. I have to relate this is funny. I just got monetized a few months ago on YouTube, and one of my videos got yellow flagged by YouTube, and it's for a World War III role-playing game. It's like a post-apocalypse thing, and where I talked about the game and the rules, and it came out in the 80s when we thought, you know, the bomb was going to be dropped any day, right? Yeah. And the cover of the game features several people with machine guns.
I think I saw this on Twitter a while ago. Like that was what they flagged you for, right?
Yeah, I mentioned that. Well, I thought that's what it was. I honestly, it was a 3-hour stream, and they saw the pictures of the guns. Yeah, I get that. So I reached out to YouTube and I said, what happened? Was it the guns? And the person says, let me review your video. And they come back and they're like, at this timestamp, you look in the camera and yell the C word at the top of your line. So I was like, that's why it's not suitable for okay.
Fair
so yeah, it's a fair cop. I get it, wanting to be careful about certain pairings of content, if you will.
Yeah.
So I completely understand, but I will check if that video goes to your YouTube channel. I will check it out.
Thank you. I really
for sure. Oh, not a problem. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. I guess now, not to get too personal, but how do you and Yang know each other? Was it just kind of a random meeting, or?
Well, Yang is a wonderful guy, and
he is.
How I met him was he reached out to me because he saw somehow when I was trying to promote Forsaken Gods 2, I guess he caught wind of it and he really liked it, and so he was like, "Hey, you want to come on and talk about it?" And so I did, and he's been really helpful, giving me suggestions, stuff like that, because I'm just an artist, I'm not a marketer. And I find social media difficult to wrap my head around sometimes. And he's always got like new ideas and interesting ideas. Like, have you thought about maybe approaching these people and stuff like that? So he's been more than helpful, and I definitely owe him a lot.
Yeah, Yang's a great guy. I love it when he comes on the show, or when he has me on his live stream, or whenever we do collabs. It's always a lot of fun. He's a great dude. And I'm so glad he put us in touch with each other, and that you said, yeah, I'll talk to this nerd and answer his dumb questions for 45 minutes or an hour. I guess I can do that.
Well, I'm talking about my project, so there's nothing wrong with that.
Right, exactly. You know, it's but I really do appreciate it, and this Random Saga looks absolutely lovely. Now, speaking of social media, as you have just stated, navigating social media can be kind of a hurdle jump. But are you on Discord?
I am. I just don't use it just because I've looked into the company that runs Discord and I didn't like what I saw. So I have used it in the past, sort of just to I mean, with previous clients of mine, they like, let's communicate through Discord. So I mostly use it for that.
Right, just as a convenient way to make long distance phone calls or video conference. I get you.
Yeah,
I get
basically.
you.
I mean, I know people have made the Discord suggestion before, but I've talked to some my other friends who have way bigger followings than me and have their own Discord server, and they tell me that it's just a pain in the butt to manage and moderate. So they're like, some of them even get out of the Discord game. So
yeah, I think around here we're small enough that it's not it's not the Gordian knot we have to try and untangle like that. Like some people invite me to their Discords and yeah, come over and we've got a thing for classic D&D and I go and there's like 300 channels and 2,000 people and I'm like and as you say, if you peel back the cover a little bit, Discord ain't a great company.
Yeah.
But perhaps we can save that for another discussion.
Yeah.
I saw there's a YouTuber, and I've gone blank on the guy's channel name, and I feel terrible about it. But he does a series of videos. They're not happy. No. But they're like blank.
Those might have been the ones that I've seen.
Yeah, blank is the worst company in the world.
Yeah,
or blank is the most evil company in the world. And when he sits down and starts just breaking it down, usually with like depressing, droning techno music and scenes from Mr. Robot playing in the background as he talks, I'm like, yeah, I'm never using that product again. Yeah, that's friggin' evil.
Use it.
Yeah, then I go turn right back in and log into Discord. These guys are jerks. Hey, did you guys hear these guys were jerks on Discord?
Yeah, basically.
But no, I completely understand. But yeah, it's a great looking project. I'm going to back it. I mean, I normally,
do you have kids?
I'm sorry. Do I have what?
Do you have kids?
Yes, I do.
Oh, and would you think that they would like it?
I do think they would like it. I have a 15-year-old and a 19-year-old, and they are both very much into. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
One of them might be a little too old for it. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. She likes a lot of the same stuff I like.
Okay.
Like we'll kick back and watch. Avatar: The Last Airbender is a big favorite of ours.
Okay.
And there are annual rewatchings. So I think she would dig this. I think she would definitely dig this. And they both have artistic ambitions. So
well, I mean, yeah, if you back it, you'll be getting something for them. Give it as a gift.
And there's
as you crunch ice and we wait.
I did not to wind up with an ice in my mouth. I couldn't decide was spitting it out the thing to do. But anyway, no, I think they'll enjoy this. I definitely think they'll enjoy this. So in parting, anything else you want to share? Any hints at future projects you'd like to drop? And
there is one thing.
Yes.
That I would like to share.
Go on.
Hang on, I gotta find it. It's just a little bit of early test footage, just to show sort of. Well, it's not test footage. It's like it's from the animatic, but it's just kind of like a nice little funny scene, just to show some of the humor, and maybe you can decide if you want it or not. Back it based on this.
All right. Wave of Mutilation says, I'm hella ancient and I still dig new anime. Well, there you go. All right. Let me see if I can.
Old man who has no further bearing on this expedition. Did you say something? Oh, there you are.
Dope.
Were you trying to sneak away?
Yeah, I was trying to sneak away. I don't like being social too often.
Oh, you almost got us there.
Yeah, I'm not as good at that as I used to be.
Okay, bye.
Eh.
There you go.
Oh, that's great, man. That is awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that with us. That's very sweet. I like that a lot. Like I said, I'm backing this sucker. You know, I just am. You got a new convert in me for sure. And thank you again for coming by the stream and hanging out with us and listening to a bunch of silly questions on my behalf. Thank you to our audience for hanging out with us tonight. Will you come back?
Sure. If you invite me back, I'll be happy to come back.
Great. Awesome. We'll have you back then. Guys, this is Fresher Luke. Check out Random Saga on Indiegogo. I'm going to stick that up on the screen here one more time. It's beautiful animation, beautifully done, and I'm all for it because guess what? It's a fantasy campaign world. He just doesn't know that he created a D&D campaign yet.
I didn't create a D&D campaign. I created a D&D world. Which
campaign? Oh, yeah. There you go. One step above. Wavy Mutilation just subbed. I don't know what level, but there you go. So thank you again for being here. Thank you to our audience for hanging out tonight. I just want to take a hot minute real quick to say thank you to our backers. Joshua Garlock, Lord Corion, Ricky Maru, Mobius, Kevin Reynolds, Doomsword Deathmaster, Mark Simpson, Damien247, James Keck, William Smith, Dungeon Minister, Manny Wall, Mark Corey, Kevin Wood, Todd Sharp, Carnivore Farmer, which is an increasingly distressing name, Rob, Jeremy Rule, Boganora, Mike, yeah, you caught that, Mikey Mack, Guy Hernstrom, Pete Sullivan, and the entire DM's Council. That's right, all of them.
Oh.
I thank you for your assistance. You help keep the lights on. Thank you to Fresher Luke for coming by this evening. And we'll see you guys. Have an absolutely fantastic Thursday, everyone. Peace.
Stay fresh.